Hello. So now I'm going to share with you my story. Hello, everyone. We're going to talk about stress. And stress has good and bad. When our stress levels are super high, it causes our health to go down, our immune system to go down, and we don't have growth anymore. As a matter of fact, our brain is confused and not able to think. Our cortisol level raises. This has a hormonal effect. It also causes our body to slow down metabolic wise. It feels like it's under great stress, as if you were starving yourself to death. So a high stress, not the best. Low stress also creates the same environment, oddly enough. When you don't have enough stress on your body, your immune system lowers. And again, you begin to produce the same chemicals that slow down the body's metabolism too. So we want to find a nice medium and have middle level stress where we're still being challenged, we can still grow, but we're at this place where we can think appropriately and make choices and decisions and move through the stress that we are under. Think about what are some situations in your past that have caused you a great deal of stress versus some situations in the past where you had no stress at all and you may have been just really bored or so relaxed that you knew something just didn't feel equally right. So along with the stress that we have in life, a lot of us are searching for options as how can we calm ourselves down so that we can think differently. There are many techniques out there. One of them, Tony Robbins, he talks about changing your physical surroundings, not as in your place where you're at, but actually your body physically. So his suggestion would be to immediately jump and do 100 jumping jacks and run in place and all sorts of things, because you're changing the chemical imbalance in your brain, and then you can come back and readdress it. There are also some techniques out there that say leave the area, go do something else for a while, and then come back to it. Sometimes that can allow your mind to reframe what's happening. There are cases that when we are having intense stress, and I would recommend a more fitness approach to it, unless you're in a place where you just know that's asking too much for your body at that time, and we need to reduce our physical activity to the mere act of breathing and thinking about releasing our body. So there are a couple of different ways to do that. One of them is breathing like you're feeling the wave of an ocean. So you have the inhale, which is slow, and then it fills up with air. And then you have the exhale, which starts out slow, and then it rushes out again. So you get that beginning, and then filling, and then exit, and blowing out, back and forth. Doing that a certain amount of times, such as 30 or even 50, something that enlightens the body, gets the blood pumping through it, and helps you to get more oxygen to your brain. Another one is a release technique where you start with either the bottom half of your body or the top half of your body, and you think about squeezing the muscle groups as tight as you can. So I might inhale and squeeze my hands as tight as I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I work on releasing them for the same amount of time. And some people do these techniques when they are going to sleep. It helps them to set their bodies for the rest that's coming. The one where you do from the head down to the toes, or the toes back up to the head, contracting and releasing, you can finish that by contracting the entire body and releasing it. And you can take the smallest muscle group, so you could say I'm going to do one toe at a time, or you could take a big muscle group, such as just doing the foot and then the leg, and it really depends on your time that you have to devote to it. So these are some suggestions for changing your mindset and stress. One more thought before I go. I have also heard that video games can achieve the same thing, even reading books. So, and your hobbies. We don't always have the ability You know, in a store, I don't always have the ability to run home and get out my paint set and bring it to the store with me when I'm having an argument with someone. So this is when some of the other techniques come in handy. Go ahead and pick one and practice it today and let me know what you choose. Hello! All right, we're going to talk about artwork today. So in art, when you look at a painting or a photo, you have some type of a shape, and usually your eye is drawn to an area on it, and the artist, generally speaking, will not show you the entire thing. They will take and they will crop out parts of it that they don't feel apply or just are detracting from what they want you to look at. So we're going to call this our spot, and we're going to call this our cropping. Okay, so from photography, from art, all of those things. So in life, we look at our past events, and our past events are like this, and we go like this, and we go like this, and we pick one thing and we remember that. And we all have events in our past that if we think about it and we recall the moment, we can recall all of the feelings that happened in an instant. So for instance, when I was a young child, I had a dog chase me down on a bike and clamp onto my leg and hold on and get lockjaw. I can still remember the panic of trying to ride my bike as fast as I could away from that dog as it leapt up and clamped in. And there's not a day that goes by that if I happen to see that breed of dog, which was a Doberman Pinscher, that there's a part of me that goes, ah! So anyways, the point of this is that because we have this whole entire piece of art and we've reduced it and now we've reduced it again and we've seen this, sometimes this does more damage and we're missing out on the bigger picture. So what I want you to do is take the focus off of that in this past life event. Enlarge the cropping that you have and see if you can adjust things and look at things differently and find the value in the experience. And then replay that over and over in your brain so that your brain starts to produce chemicals that help you, chemicals that keep you happy, and your stress begins to lower. Because now we talked about how we can control our interpretation of events, but now we can control our interpretation of past events. So now our baggage begins to become something good versus something debilitating. So I have it, for instance, when I was much younger, I want to say 12, my father, out of love, let me know that I was getting chubby, which I knew. And then he also, because he felt like I was not responding the way he wanted me to, that if I stayed chubby, the boys would not like me. My young brain heard, if you're chubby, you will not have love. So in order to please my father and to have love, I went ahead and dropped a whole bunch of weight, and sure enough, the boys did notice me. And they gave me a lot of attention. And in my young brain, I was like, oh, my dad was right. This equals love. And that started quite a long road of interpreting things very wrong for myself. It was very destructive. It also became a game of control for me. If I could control what I ate, then I could have love. So then a quest for perfection helped me to somehow have love. And looking back, that is not what my father intended from the beginning at all, ever. It was merely just him saying, look, I love you and I want you to be healthy. And it may have not been the best approach for me or my personality, but I don't have to keep that today. I can look at that and go, okay, he loved me, he wanted me to be healthy. I can look at how it was explained, I can improve on that for other people, And I can interpret that differently for myself so that I have more blessings from it and more benefits from it, and realize that I have no control over anything in this life except for that one thing as to how I interpret things. So I do appreciate my father introducing me to more of a healthy, fit life. I value that a lot. Take some time, look at some of the things. You might even write them down as far as what were some things that were pretty scary, and you know what they are. You might write them down and take one and experiment with it. Use your talents and see where you can make some differences so that you're starting to get benefits from it and producing better chemicals in your brain for yourself versus the damaging ones. Okay, so we're going to do a real brief, fun little thing. We have our talents, and there are 50 million of them out there, so I hope you share with me tons of them. I'm only going to cover a few, but these are what we use to change our interpretation of things. And we have to know what they're really good at and how they can help us and how they can also hinder us. So we have, first one on the board, daydreaming, great imagination, creative, and also spaced out and not participating and somewhere else. You know what I'm talking about. All right, and the next one we have is someone who's organized, a great decision maker, and also they're bossy and intense, and they don't care about anybody else. Then we have people who love doing things for others, and they're the ones that always step up first and volunteer, and they're also the people that can never say no. And then we have the people who are like, all right, come on, we've got all this, we can do this, guys, let's rally together. And they seem to get everything done. That's a fabulous talent to have, and yet when they get home at midnight, they've done too much, and they wake up at 4 a.m. and they've done too much. And you remember how we talk about stress the last 2 times, and how we control stress and how we control interpretation of events. Well, our talents also play a role in our stress. So think about some other talents that are out there that you have, and see if you can find out what the advantages are for that talent and what the disadvantages are for it. And then send me back a note about what you think yours are. Okay, moments of stress. Can I learn? What is the opposite that I could do right now? What is my talent? Try this phrase. I get to go to the movies versus I have to go to the movies. That have to creates a real different surge of emotions. Try this one. When you're talking about your nutrition, how about a routine that's your go-to? That gives you success. So how about I have a breakfast ritual? I just create every single day. It's simple, it's easy. I don't have the stress of being like, oh, what do I do today? What do I eat today? This is why we talk about shopping and preparing food and things like that. What if I jump up and down and shake my body and go, la 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 la? My body will change from that. How about changing my response from, oh, I don't know, let me get back to you on that, to, why not? What the beep? Okay, how about a crazy song, such as supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. So you get my point with that one. Any song that's crazy that can change your mindset. Stress. What if you say, okay, today at 4 o'clock, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to plan my stress. I'm going to take 20 minutes and I'm going to actively stress over whatever it is that's bothering me. And then at 4:20, you go, okay, time to move on to the next project. Wow, can you imagine what that would do? You are allowing for the stress to be there. You're allowing your brain to go crazy and do whatever it does, but you're also at the same time saying, okay, just like everything else, it has to come to an end, and it does. So here's some things. This is facts of life. Everything will happen to get you out of routine. Everything, all the time. Count on it. Embrace it. Love it. You will have this, and we're hopefully getting to here. Okay, so what we want to do is, instead of being rigid, like a book, we want to have some flexibility, like a CD. We want to be able to say, okay, I'm not going to be able to get in and get that done today, but by golly, when I get home, I'm going to do as much as I can. I'm going to do 200 sit-ups. I'm going to do 50 push-ups. We work in those things. 5 minutes of fitness is better than 0 minutes of fitness. So start to change those things. A taco from the fast food place is better than double bacon sourdough cheeseburger and spicy french fries. So in life, we live with these ups and downs, and we make our best choice at the time. This is how we remain flexible, and this is how we eventually get towards our goals. It's not because we were strict. It's because we made choices that kept getting us a little bit closer, a little bit more time as it goes. All right, and so we haven't done this one in a while, but what are some things that you feel are going really, really well for you right now? Where do you feel that you've found success? Perhaps it's in your workouts and your commitment to going. Perhaps when I was out of town, if you met with me one-on-one, or if you went out of town, perhaps you still kept doing some of your fitness goals. Perhaps you've made good decisions eating out. Perhaps your kitchen routine is different, your shopping routine is different. What is going well right now? And then what is one thing that you would like to improve on, and something that we've gone over from the past? What would that be? All right, now we're going to start talking about something else we can work on, and it's called sleeping. Oh, I love sleeping. And I never take sleeping for granted, because I'm just not so sure sometimes when my body is going to let me do it. If you're like me, there are many, many, many things that we can do to help our sleep. So what I want you to do is be aware of this week what your habits are as far as getting ready for bed. So do you have some downtime before you go to bed? Are you reducing stimulation to your eyes? Are you eating before you go to bed? If so, how much? Are you hungry before you go to bed? Are you going to bed super late? How does your schedule work for you? And finally, when you do go to bed, are you able to go to sleep quickly, or is it something that takes quite a while? So think about that, analyze it for the week, and then get back to me on those answers, because from there we're going to have more information. All right, we're going to add one more thing as well for this month, and this is going to be what we choose to drink. So I'd like to go through the most basic drinks that we have first. So number one that's most important is water. And water comes in many formulations today, which is fabulous. You can get flavored water. You can get water that is scented, in a sense. They call it a hint. You can get mineral water. You can get well water. You can get city water. You can get water from all over the world in a bottle. Basically, though, water your body needs. And they do say that you need at least 8 ounces a day. Some of us need more. So the more weight you want to lose, the more water that you will need. All right, there are some different ways that you can prepare water to make it more tasty. So I'm going to give you some suggestions on that. One thing you can do is you can put a lemon or lime in it, or any other fruit or an herb. You can squeeze out those juices in it, or you can let it sit and infuse overnight. If you do that, go ahead and just throw it into your fridge. That helps keep the mold out of it. Some suggestions would be peels from fruits, cucumbers, pineapple, etc. Very refreshing, very tasty. When you wake up, it's a lovely choice to have first thing in the morning. So, if you are used to having tons of heavy sugared coffee in the morning, you want to go off of that slowly, and you want to go for water as a replacement eventually. And I'm not against coffee. This is just to help your body balance out. 1 cup of coffee is good. 2 cups max is good for the average person. So if I was used to drinking a lot of coffee a day, I know one of you has 3 cups a day 2 times. So if I was used to drinking that, I would want to replace some of that with decaffeinated coffee. So I might take 1 cup and do half coffee, half decaffeinated, where I've reduced the amount that I'm putting in by half and half, and eventually that 1 cup becomes decaf. And then eventually I'm reducing that to half a cup of decaf and half a cup of just water, and so forth until I've weaned myself off of that caffeine. You don't want to do a fast rush. Same thing with your sugar. You want to adjust it so that your mouth gets a little more used to the taste. There are some sweeteners out there that you can use that are non-caloric. I'm a big fan of all the natural ones, like stevia, erythritol, xylitol. Those are the ones that I prefer. And some people like the other ones that are more chemical based. If you use heavy cream, see if you can trade that out for whole milk. If you use whole milk, see if you can trade that out for light milk. If you use 2% milk, see if you can trade that out for almond milk. Any of the above. Just go ahead, go with what you know, and change your choices. Enjoy it. So, what can water do for you? Well, 1, it helps your brain function better. 2, it removes the toxins from your body. 3, it helps everything to recover. Is it possible to have too much? Yes. Is it possible to have too little? Yes. So, when you drink a lot, you got to go to the bathroom, which means your kidneys are working. So, anyways, that's it. All right, back to those wonderful calories and drinks. So the reason we discussed water was because water is what is considered a free food. You eat that and you do not gain weight from drinking water. We can call it a 0-calorie beverage. So let's look at how we're going to use this area to address our fat loss goals. So when we decide what we're going to have to drink, what is it that we want from it for our body? What are we asking it to do? So is it going to benefit us if we drink it, or is it going to hinder us if we drink it? And then is there a better choice out there for us? So for some of you, you might drink a soda a day. Well, a better choice might be a smaller soda. A better choice might be a diet soda. A better choice might be flavored mineral water if you like the tingling sensation. So when you get a drink, look for some key things like we did with labels on packaged foods, because anytime you have something that's been created, you're going to have extra things in it. So you're going to have some chemicals in there, some preservatives. If you like the way it tastes, chances are there's some sugars in there. You're also going to have some colors, and for a lot of us, we have some caffeine in it. And then also with certain sodas, you do end up with a lot of sodium. I do know some people who are much older that have to stay away from certain sodas because their liver cannot handle the chemicals that are in those drinks. All right, let's talk about the calorie differences. So in juice, for instance, you're looking at 100 to 150 calories. And the sugars are usually pretty high, anywhere from 13 grams to, I think like 33 grams. Orange juice is very, very high. Your coffees, this is a fun one. If you just got something plain and some water, very low calorie. But if you go to any of the lovely places and you get something that tastes amazing, which is going to equate about a meal's worth of calories, you could do 500, 700 calories easily based on the size of what you're ordering. The same with your sodas. They come in different sizes. And the same with teas. And then you also have your alcohols too. They have, different amount of calories and sugars, and the serving sizes change too. I've seen some people have margaritas that were this big, and I've seen other people have margaritas that were like a fishbowl. So just be aware of what you're ingesting, and let's shoot for drinks that are zero. How can we do better? All right, now we're going to talk about something that I learned from Phil Lerney and Precision Nutrition and a whole bunch of other really great people, also Idea Fitness. So caffeine tolerance is something that's actually genetic. We do process it differently, so you have to see how you react to it. Some of us become very addictive. Some of us, it makes us sick and a little extra jittery. Caffeine, if you get the good stuff, it can be good for your body. Coffee stimulates the liver, it stimulates the bowels, it helps the brain with certain chemicals and hormones a little bit. Now, for some of us, tea, and particularly green tea, can do the same thing, and it has some more antioxidants in it. And antioxidants are still things that they're trying to figure out just how they benefit us completely. But you decide what you want to have in order to drink, and then enjoy it. But do see if caffeine bothers you or if it doesn't. For me, a little bit is okay. A lot is just too much. Okay, so now we're going to talk about drinking liquids and how much. We're going to need more liquids depending on the type of exercise that we're doing. Also the time of year and where you live, your size. So a really small person isn't going to need as much as a large person. You need to listen to your body, so when you are thirsty, go ahead and have a drink. However, if you're thirsty all of the time and you keep drinking and it's never getting quenched, this is a really good reason to go see a doctor. When you use the restroom, you want your urine to have a yellow color to it. It can be slightly yellow to regular yellow. Anything darker than that, when you're starting to get into brown and green, you're looking at severe dehydration. One time in college, my roommate and I thought it would be a great idea because the cafeteria had unlimited sodas. And so we drank Diet Coke solely for, I think, 2 weeks. And then we looked at each other and I was like, my pee is brown. And she concurred, and we didn't feel good. And so we decided we weren't going to have soda anymore, and we went back to water, and we felt pretty good. If you are sweating an awful lot, like let's say it's summer and you're doing more than usual and you're competing, like maybe even in a marathon, something like that, feel free to add a little bit of salt to your water, just a pinch. Some people drink pickle juice, same thing. So that is it. All right, now we're going to touch upon something that is taboo. All right, alcohol. Alcohol, in many cultures, we use to celebrate events, and people have it daily for dinner. Some people have it to go to sleep by. It is not the best tool to use for that. It is potentially full of some antioxidants. So is grape juice, and so are grapes. Yes, you can actually eat the whole food and get all of the benefits from it, the same as you would the juice and the alcohol. Even though it is actually a little more concentrated, it's still okay. So looking at alcohol, what happens when we drink alcohol is that our body perceives it as a poison. Our liver says, hold up, and your metabolism literally stops processing in the body for about 8 to 12 hours, sometimes 24, depending on how much you've drank, until the liver has completely processed all of the poison and gotten it rid of and out of the body. So in terms of fat loss, not a great choice. If you are having alcohol once a day, you are stopping your metabolism for a good 12 hours every single day. So this is why you will find a lot of fitness professionals stay away from it or have it occasionally, or they're extremely active and they're still having a small portion of it. For us, our goal is to make the best choice that we can. So again, looking at it, if you are drinking 2 glasses a day before you go to bed, reduce it to 1 and put some grape juice in there. If you're drinking 1 glass, add some sparkling water to it and reduce it half. And if you're not having any at all, don't start.